Hello, welcome to another episode of JD 10-Year Transformation. This week's episode is coming to you from my home away from home in Anna Maria, Florida. I'm actually staying with my son. He lives down here. Had to come down a little unexpected trip to help him out with his new boat, which I'm very proud that he bought, and also do a little fishing. So this week's episode, like I said last week, I didn't want to start skipping a week right from the very beginning. I said I was going to make a video every week, and I wanted to stick to it. So even though I'm not back at home, I didn't want to miss this opportunity to film a new episode. So this week's episode, I want to do a little bit of a reboot and explain to you where I came from, what the 10-year transformation, what it looks like, and maybe how you can start taking steps today to figure it out. So essentially, 15 years ago, I'm trading commodities. I'm doing well. I think I have the world by the balls, and essentially, things were turned on its head. Commodity trading, the way we did it, was rendered obsolete. So I spent about the next 7 years muddling along different businesses, not really good opportunities, but I was trying to make more out of them than was really there, and all in an effort to sustain this life that I had started to build for myself and for my family. So I reached kind of my breaking point in 2015, where it was Christmas time, tradition. My friends and I always go out for a nice steak dinner, celebrate the year, even though I'm a vegetarian now. But at the time, I still did eat meat. And this is something we did every year. So dinners, we usually go out for a nice dinner. It's usually probably $300 a guy, which we spend some money, drink a lot of nice wine, and just have a good time. I didn't have the money to go out. It was Christmas time, and I needed the money for my kids, for my wife, and I just didn't have the money. I didn't see it justified spending this $300 going out, spending it on myself when my family needed stuff. So essentially, I sat down at that point, and that was really the first time that I said, well, I don't have any money, because I've always been a hustler and different things. I've always worked hard, and all of a sudden I'm at this point where I don't have $300 to go out with my friends. And I sat down, it was Christmas time, and I sat down and said, you know what, James, what do I have to fix here? What do I have to make right here? And that's exactly what I did, and that's what I'm asking you to start doing today. I sat down and said to myself, okay, well, what do my finances look like? What do my relationships look like? What's my health look like? What do I really want out of life, the next 50 years that I have? What do I want all these things to look like? So I sat down and took a brutally honest assessment of what I wanted my life to look like. And I was realistic about it. If I had sat down, like people make New Year's resolutions and say, okay, I'm going to do all these things in 1 year. That's BS. Most people aren't going to accomplish all those things in 1 year. So I gave myself 10 years. And I said, well, if I work every day specifically working on these skills and fine-tuning these areas of my life that need to be fine-tuned, yes, I can reach this in 10 years. And 10 years seems like an extraordinary amount of time, but it passes in a blink. And already I'm into this is 2022. I started this January 2016, right? So that's 6 years. So I'm 6 years into it already, and it feels like I started it yesterday. But it really did make a dramatic change in my life. And I'm going to explain to you why I think it make a dramatic change in your life as well. And I encourage everyone to make this kind of brutally honest assessment. The thing that happened when I did this was I sat down and I painted a very true, people are not brutally honest with themselves. And I think brutal honesty, sometimes you kid yourself into thinking, hey, I'm not that heavy, or hey, my finances aren't that bad, or hey, I'm a good dad. But, sometimes you need to really shine the magnifying glass on your life and really take a look at it and say, am I really a good dad? Is my health really good? Is my relationship with my wife really good? You have to shine light on that. And that's exactly what I did. And that's what I'm asking you to do, because I think it has made a dramatic change in my life. And I think I will look back once I reach the 10 years and say, hey, wait a second. I took my life in a completely different direction. And it started with sitting down and being honest with myself. And so I'm going to use this. Maybe this will resonate with you. You get in your car. Everyone has GPS in their car now. You get in your car and you go in a place where you've never been before. Type in the navigation, the address. You get in, it tells you first navigation, make a left, make a right, get on this highway, get off that highway. And then all of a sudden, you're driving along, cruising along, it says, stay on this road for 15 miles. You keep going, 15 miles, all of a sudden there's a roadblock. and now the navigation resets. You got to get off this highway, make a right, make a left, cut through someone's backyard, go through there, and you're back on track. And that's what the 10-year transformation really is about, because it becomes a blueprint for what you want, where you want to get to. You know the goal. I'm a huge fan of reverse engineering. And I'll talk about that in another episode, but I'm a huge fan of reverse engineering, starting with an end in mind. So that's what I'm asking you to do, and that's what I did. I started with the end in mind. I said to myself, well, this is what I want my life to look like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30, but let's start with 10 years. This is what I want my life to look like 10 years from now. What do I need to get to that point? And that's exactly what I did. I sat down and said, well, I'm a great father. I'm a great dad. I'm always there for them. But I sat down and said, well, am I being present enough? When I'm there and when I'm with my children, am I enjoying every moment? Or am I thinking about I got to take care of that? Multitasking has always been an obstacle for me. I'm always overscheduled, overplanned, sitting, taking it back, pressing the rewind button, realizing, hey, wait a second. I'm not going to get this opportunity to have a 15-year-old daughter at this point in life, and I'm not going to have that opportunity to go fishing with my son when he's this. Really step back and say to yourself, wait a second, let me get present here. Let me be present in their life, because the reality is, time passes. Your kids aren't necessarily going to always want to be fishing with you or going to see a concert or taking a day trip. That's not always going to be the case. So you got to turn around and get priority right away. And that it almost seems trite and everyone says it, but I'm telling you for a fact, that's got to be part of your 10-year transformation. If you're serious about taking a 10-year transformation, you have to be serious about that part of it. Your health. Listen, I've been working out since I'm 15 years old. 15, working out every day. I still haven't hit my physical goals. Every day I got to work at it. Thought I was eating right, thought I was working out, thought I was doing the right thing. Go and take a blood test, says you have high cholesterol. I want to punch the doctor in his face. I'm like, how do I have high cholesterol? I don't eat red meat. I don't do any of this. How do I have high cholesterol? This is what the person said. Oh, your blood pressure, you got to watch the salt. I don't eat salt. I don't add salt to my food. So all these things, I had to turn it on its head. I had to figure out, well, obviously I'm misunderstanding something. Obviously something that I am doing is not what I need to be doing. So sit down and turn around and say to yourself, wait a second. All right, what's this about? So for me, it took a long time. I couldn't get the meter to move on the scale, the needle to move on the scale. Last year, I'm pushing 211, 212. I'm well into my 10-year transformation. Not missing a day exercising, COVID BS. Exercise at home, punching bag and kettlebells, all this. I'm not missing a day. I'm not turning around and eating steak. I'm not doing any of these things. All of a sudden, I'm 212. All right. I asked my wife. My wife's like, yeah, you're getting older. Getting older? 50 years old. Where do I, if I don't draw a line in the sand here, what am I going to be, this 250-pound, 5'5" guy? I'm going to be completely round, in awful shape. Like I gotta draw a line in the sand. Like I said in my last video, my buddy Rob transformed his body. I turned around and said, well, he's doing it. He's doing things. I gotta figure out what he's doing. I have to really figure out what I have to do to get my body in shape. So like I said, I went plant focused. I do eat some meat, occasionally. I don't eat red meat, but I'll have some fish. I'll have a piece of chicken. And I'm probably 90% vegetarian, and that's working for me. I knocked off 20 pounds. Last week, I said one night, this past week before I came down here, I stepped on the scale. It was 189. I haven't seen 189 since, I'm probably 12, 13 years. So I'm headed in the right direction. And I think you can do it too. This is a guy who struggles with his weight constantly. You cannot turn around and say, oh, James, I can't lose weight. Oh, it's my genetics. BS. Listen, you're kidding yourself. I kidded myself. You're kidding yourself. Do not kid yourself. That's where being brutally honest comes in. Do not kid yourself. Do not kid yourself. Because I've kidded myself. Do not kid yourself. All right? That's that. Finances. Figure out what your financial story is. Figure out the financial story you're telling yourself. I'll tell you what. Real estate market, bananas. Stock market, bananas. Boat market, bananas. All these things are bananas. Sometimes I sit back and say to myself, am I the only guy who's not just flush with cash? I don't know. People are buying houses, 30, 40% over ask. People are buying boats. Is it 10 months? Maybe some waited 9 months to get his boat. Everything, stock market, 35,000. I don't understand any of this. I'm not going to pretend like I understand any of this. But what I'm saying is, do not get caught in this trap by overextending yourself. And it's very, very easy to get caught in that trap. I see people driving around in $75,000 pickup trucks all day long. Whether I'm in New Jersey, Florida, driving around with my job, everyone's flush with cash, it seems. But are they leveraged up the butt? And that's what you have to say to yourself. Wait a second. If that's your being financially sound, I'll tell you right now, a lot of my weight issues and stuff, and a lot of it, I think was stress related. So I'm trying to alleviate that stress. Nothing alleviates stress easier and quicker than having no bills. That's the truth. If there's one thing you take away from me, that's the truth. Waking up and knowing that, the stock market goes down 20,000 points, all right. The housing market shits the bed again, all right. And you can live. But if you're leveraged up the ass, you're not going to live. You're not going to live, and it's going to affect everything. It spirals down. Your health collapses, your relationships collapse, everything starts collapsing. So let's get back to the point. I'm trying to keep these videos to 15 minutes. Every video I want to be 15 minutes. So I'm right around the 12-minute mark. So I want to explain to you what assignment I'd like to see you guys do and gals do for the next week. I want you to sit down, pen to paper, break your life down into broad categories. Relationships, finances, health. You have to tackle all three at the same time. And if you tackle all three at the same time, you have a much better chance of succeeding. And set a realistic time frame. I set 10 years. Tony Robbins once said, people overestimate what people can do in a year, what you can do in a year, and underestimate what you can do in 10 years. And I firmly believe that. People said New Year's resolutions. Resolutions don't stick because they're trying to lose 50 pounds, trying to become the best dad, trying to, make $1 million. They're all trying to do this in 1 year. That's not realistic. 10 years, I'm pretty confident I can pull it off. You give me 10 years to do something. Because you know what? 10 years gives you a chance to course correct. You made a little mistake, back on track. You made another mistake, back on track. You indulged, get back on track. You missed this, back on track. So you're constantly able to give yourself that kind of ability to navigate, the 10 years. When you're dealing with, if you're trying to do that all in 1 year, that's not realistic. What are you going to do? Drop 5 pounds a month. That's 60 pounds. Say 3 pounds a month. That's 36 pounds. That's a lot of weight. It's a lot of weight, and to keep it off is almost impossible. What are you going to do? Be the best dad. Coach, and take your kid fishing and take your daughter to concerts and be the best. You're going to do all this. You're going to transfer it. You're going to become the best husband that the world's ever seen. You're going to turn around and make $1 million. You're going to work. How are you pulling this all off in 12 months? Impossible. 10 years, solid. 5 years, pressing it. 10 years, solid. And that's what I think you can do. That's what you think. I'm in the midst of it. You could turn around and leave a comment right now and be like, JD, you're full of this. I'm not full of it. I'm living it every day. I go back to that plan every so often, not every day, every so often. Am I on track? Yes. Is this congruent? Is this where I want to be heading? Yes. Is this decision that you're about to make, is it in line with where you want to be in 10 years? Let me think about that one. Yes. And that's how you get to your 10-year transformation. I think you can do it. I'm trying to do it. I'm planning, I finished that 10 years. I'm probably looking at setting another 10-year transformation plan. Because ultimately, I think that, I'm in good shape. I could see 100. 100's not that old anymore. I could see 100, 110. Why not? But you know what? The benefit of doing it, is tremendous. The benefit of not doing it, man, you don't want to be that person. So listen, until the next episode, probably next episode, I'm going to see my daughter. She lives in Charlotte now, so I'm always traveling. between now and the next episode, maybe filming from Charlotte for all I know, but from now until the next episode, I want you to sit down, put some pen to paper, and start figuring out who you really want to be. Be brutally honest with yourself. It may bring you to tears. It brought me to tears because I saw where I was lacking. But the flip side is I saw the potential in myself. That's why I always say, I have a heart of a lion. I do. I believe I have a heart of a lion. And I believe I can accomplish the goals I want. I believe you can accomplish the goals you want too. So leave me a comment. Listen, I don't expect 1 million people to look at this video right now, but I'm going to keep doing it until they do. And listen, and my offer I still have that free box of Purple Carrot. No one's taken me up on it yet. So if you want, get Purple Carrot. It's a great way to kickstart your exercise routine. Just like I said, over the course of these episodes, I'm going to show you some products that I love. Maybe you'll love them too if you're a fisherman. Marshwear, excellent brand. Marshwear t-shirt, it's a great brand. I'm not making any money off it. I'm just talking about what I know. Listen, it's a great product. It's AFCO, I think, owns them, which AFCO, all my clothing, all my fishing gear is AFCO. So listen, until the next episode, have a heart of a lion. Have a great day, and I will see you next episode. All right, take care.